Unveiling a chapter from the grim annals of American history, we delve into the old Joliet prison, a structure that once housed the most dangerous criminals in Illinois. In the heart of the 19th century, the year of 1858 to be precise, the first stones of this imposing structure were laid. The old Joliet prison was born out of necessity, a solution to the burgeoning problem of overcrowding in Illinois' existing correctional facilities. It was a project of immense scale and ambition, and the labor to bring it to fruition was provided by the very people it was designed to contain, the convicts themselves. The prison's design was not an afterthought. The architects drew inspiration from the design of the Northern Illinois Hospital and Asylum for the Insane, with its grand Gothic architecture, symbolizing both the severity of punitive justice and the potential for reform. The result was an institution that was as much a palace of punishment as it was a monument to the ideals of rehabilitation. But the old Joliet prison was not merely a place of punishment. It was also a beacon of economic opportunity for the surrounding community, providing jobs and commerce to the city of Joliet. This was an era when the lines between punishment and exploitation were blurred, and the prison served as a vivid illustration of this paradox. The prison's architectural significance extended beyond its formidable stone walls. Inside, it was a labyrinth of cells, each one a stark reminder of the price of transgression against society's rules. The prison was a world unto itself, a microcosm of the larger society outside its walls, complete with its own unique rules and hierarchies. Thus, the old Joliet prison stood tall, a formidable fortress ready to play its part in the history of American corrections. As the walls of the old Joliet prison echoed with the clanging of iron gates, a new era of darkness descended. Life within these cold stone walls was far from easy. Overcrowding became a common issue, with prisoners crammed into tight, poorly ventilated spaces, the air heavy with despair. The lack of basic amenities was another cruel reality. Clean water, nutritious food, and medical care were luxuries, often out of reach for many inmates. The prison's harsh discipline was notorious. Brutal punishments were meted out for even the smallest infractions, reinforcing the atmosphere of fear and oppression. Solitary confinement, a punishment dreaded by all, involved being isolated in a small, dark cell, cut off from any human interaction. The psychological toll was immense. Adding to the prison's notoriety were some of its infamous inmates. Among them was Terrible Tommy O'Connor, a notorious gangster known for his violent escapades. His audacious escape from the prison in 1921 added a chilling chapter to the prison's history. Another incident that etched itself into the prison's dark legacy involved an inmate rebellion in the late 1950s. The uprising, a desperate cry for humane treatment, was brutally quashed, leaving a trail of blood and bitterness. In these grim times, the prison became a breeding ground for despair. Stories of violence, desperation, and loss filled every corner, every cell. To be incarcerated in the old Joliet prison was to be stripped of one's dignity, to be reduced to a mere number in a sea of faceless inmates. And so, the old Joliet prison earned its reputation, a place of despair, where the light of hope seldom filtered through. As the 20th century dawned, winds of change began to blow through the grim corridors of the old Joliet prison. The turn of the century marked a new era for the prison system, bringing with it a slew of reforms aimed at improving the lives of those behind bars. The first of these changes came in the form of improved living conditions. The dilapidated cells, once cramped and unhygienic, underwent renovations. Fresh paint coated the walls, and new, more comfortable bedding replaced the old, worn-out mattresses. But it wasn't just the physical environment that saw an overhaul. The prison's administration, too, started to implement more humane treatment protocols, putting an end to the brutal punishments that were once commonplace. Alongside these structural changes, a new focus on rehabilitation began to take root. The prison introduced a variety of programs aimed at equipping the inmates with skills they could use upon their release. From carpentry to culinary arts, these programs offered a glimmer of hope, a chance for the inmates to build a new life outside the prison walls. These reforms didn't just change the physical and administrative landscape of the old Joliet prison. They also had a profound impact on the inmates themselves. With the introduction of these programs, the atmosphere within the prison started to shift. Despair gave way to a sense of purpose, as inmates saw a chance for redemption and a path towards a better future. But perhaps the most significant change was in the perception of the prison itself. What was once a place of dread and despair was slowly transforming. The old Joliet prison was no longer just a place of punishment. It was becoming a place of reform, a place where inmates were given a second chance, a place where they could learn, grow, and prepare for a better future. The old Joliet prison, once a symbol of despair, was slowly transforming into a beacon of reform. In 2002, after almost a century and a half of operation, the old Joliet prison closed its doors, marking the end of an era. The reasons behind this closure were manifold. With the advent of modern correctional facilities, the old and decaying structure of Joliet was deemed unfit for the requirements of the 21st century. The prison, once a bustling hub of activity, was now a ghost town. Faced with a lack of maintenance and funding, the historic structure began to fall into disrepair. Brick by brick, the iconic limestone walls began to crumble, succumbing to the ravages of time and neglect. The once intimidating guard towers, a symbol of authority and control, stood as hollow shells of their former selves, their silent watch over the prison grounds now a thing of the past. In the aftermath of its closure, the prison was left to the mercy of the elements. Rain, wind, and snow took their toll on the deserted facility. The iron bars rusted, the cell doors creaked, and the prison yard, once filled with the sounds of inmates, was now eerily silent, save for the occasional rustling of leaves or the hoot of an owl. The closure of the old Joliet prison marked the end of a significant chapter in the history of Illinois' correctional system. The prison had played a pivotal role in the state's penal history, having housed some of the most notorious criminals of its time. From infamous gangsters to hardened murderers, the prison's inmate roster read like a who's who of the criminal underworld. As the years rolled on, the prison's once formidable presence began to fade into obscurity. Its once formidable walls were gradually reclaimed by nature as vines and weeds crept across the decaying stone. Yet despite its dilapidated state, the prison's ghostly aura remained intact, its silent walls a testament to the countless stories of human struggle and redemption that unfolded within its confines. What remained of the old Joliet prison was a haunting reminder of its past. Its deserted cell blocks, crumbling walls, and silent watchtowers spoke volumes of the prison's turbulent history. Yet in their silence they also held a promise of renewal, a beacon of hope for a future where the prison's storied past could be preserved and honored. The old Joliet prison, once teeming with life, now stood silent and abandoned, a ghostly reminder of its turbulent past. Today the old Joliet prison has found a new purpose, serving as a stark reminder of our past. No longer a place of incarceration, it now echoes with the voices of history, inviting us to learn and reflect on the lessons it holds. Efforts to preserve this landmark have been nothing short of monumental, a testament to the determination of those who value our shared history. The prison's transformation has been remarkable. It's gone from a fortress of punishment to a beacon of tourism and education, attracting history enthusiasts and curious travelers alike. Its imposing walls and formidable structure, once symbols of fear and repression, now draw crowds eager to glimpse into a bygone era. Guided tours have become a staple of the prison's new identity. Visitors are led through the maze of cell blocks, guard towers, and the infamous solitary confinement cells, each step echoing with the stories of those who once called this place home. Each corner of the prison whispers tales of hardship and resilience, of regret and redemption, inviting us to look beyond the surface and delve into the human stories that unfolded within these walls. But it's not just the tours that keep the prison alive. Events held at the old Joliet prison are now a common occurrence. These range from historical reenactments that transport you back in time, to concerts and festivals that imbue the old stone with a new vibrancy. Through these events, the prison has found a way to connect with the community, turning its dark past into an opportunity for shared experiences and learning. The old Joliet prison is more than just a relic of the past. It's a living piece of history. It's a place where the echoes of the past meet the voices of the present, where stories of despair are transformed into lessons of hope. It's a place that reminds us of the power of redemption and the capacity for change. From a place of despair to a symbol of change and redemption, the old Joliet prison stands today, a testament to the enduring spirit of humanity.